welcome to ZAKtalks TECH, and of course I wasn't paying attention, so I don't have my music. There it is, right there. We're gonna turn it down though, because tonight is a conversation with a creator. I don't have an overhead cam. Look, it's just a void. It's nothing, because these wonderful people, and I'm gonna figure. I think I figured out what the problem here is. Filmic Pro, they changed something. We're gonna talk about Filmic Pro. We're gonna talk about the creation process. We're going to talk about creators. We're going to talk about being blunt. There's things that this person has said and done that I'm just like, yes, this is why I love her. And I will fight her husband. No, I'm sure my wife would have something to say about that. But anyway, this is somebody I look up to. This is somebody I absolutely love. We go back. I can't believe it's been over 5 years that we've known each other. And I don't think we've had any fights. And she's an awesome creator. She has multiple channels, and she's done all sorts of crazy experimenting, and someone that I would definitely trust with, you know, if you're looking for a YouTube coach, a YouTube educator, something like that. But we're going to definitely get into that. Here she is, the one and only Shelly saves the day. Hello, Shelly. How are you?
Hello. I'm awesome. How are you doing?
I'm good. How is? I hope the tunes aren't too loud. I'm gonna put on something kind of groovy here. This is the creator mix. We love the creator mix.
We love creator mix.
And this is the Niminati lo-fi. So it's gonna be like really. It'll be in the background, really low. Hopefully it's not too loud.
By the way, I do have a playlist on Spotify and on Apple where you can see my hour-long playlist of music that I've curated for my live streams and creator mix, and that's a public playlist. So if you want to go see some tunes, go check that out too.
I will check out. I'm normally I'm streaming this from the Spotify, but I will definitely. I see people like posting their Apple in review, kind of like the Spotify rap stuff lately, and I'm kind of jelly the way that Apple has done it. You know, like I like the way Spotify's done it. But I will definitely check that out. I will add that to my to-do list here. How are you this evening?
Doing well. You know who else is also doing that? Anchor. Because I got one because my podcast is also up on Anchor. And so I got like your podcast, your in review. And that was kind of cool. Like this is how many minutes you put up on Anchor. And so that was kind of cool to see them do it too.
That's cool. I'll have to check that out. I would love to show you guys with the overhead cam here, but I recently got the Pixel 6 Pro. Oh, sorry, wow.
I know 7. The Damascus is so beautiful. I was catching that live.
If there ever was a ZAK color,
I don't comment.
Right? But
it's so beautiful.
If there ever was a ZAK color, right? I mean, honestly,
oh.
when I saw the preview for this, I emailed my rep right away, and I'm like, dude,
can you get me one? I really want one. Mine is sitting around here naked, so I need some.
You live dangerously without a case?
I just haven't bought cases yet, so.
Yeah. Well, I emailed my rep, and they first told me to go away, and then I emailed them again, and we went back and forth with the whole go away thing about 35 times. And they finally sent me the grip case with this on here, and they sent me a couple more skins as well. Really groovy. Yeah, really groovy. I like it.
So pretty.
Yes. And you know what? I'm just gonna because I would love to do this with an overhead cam, but like I said, not working tonight. But Google was nice enough to send me the 7.
Yeah, how'd you do that?
And lemongrass.
Good on ya.
This is actually part of the creator conversation we're gonna have, and something I kind of talked about last night during my stream, but I think makes more sense during this kind of stream, during a creator conversation. But they sent me the 7 in lemongrass, and I gotta tell you,
I bought the 7 in lemongrass. It's over there.
It's pretty. It's pretty.
This is my 6A. I have the 7 in lemongrass as well. I bought them myself.
Did you? And they sent me the 6A as well.
Oh, sweet. We're rocking the same phone setup, except you got yours for free.
I got 2 for free, and they sent me the Buds Pro, which, let me tell you this. If I fall asleep with these in, and I forget they're in my ears for the first 20 minutes of the day, and I walk around the house going, why does everything sound weird? These are good.
They are pretty good.
Oh my goodness, the noise cancellation is better than some of the other high-end stuff I've used. I'm not going to mention who, but like I'm duly impressed. Let me tell you.
I really like those. Yeah.
The Buds Pro, awesome. Yeah, really quick, I just want to say hi to some familiar faces and some new faces and some faces I saw over on your stream. I had no idea you were streaming as well tonight, so hopefully your voice.
Thursday, man.
Hopefully your voice survives. I knew that you streamed during the week, but I couldn't. I keep on thinking today's Wednesday, but it's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. Can you believe it's December 1st?
No.
Like, how gross is that? Anyway.
How dare they? The audacity.
I know. Adam's Exploits is here. I don't know who that is. Adam, welcome to the stream. Appreciate you being here. I'm gonna give you
Adam's
one of these.
great. He came from my channel. You be nice to him.
Okay, I gave him, you know.
Yeah, don't be dismissive.
I won't. We got Dutch Can Jam. I like the name.
Yeah.
Dutch Can Jam. Awesome. Pixel Pia, how you doing? I recognize that name. There we go. We got Doug Houston. Have you heard of this guy? He's down in Australia. He's also a channel member. I appreciate channel members. I'm gonna give you one of these.
Cucumber.
Appreciate you, Dougie. Appreciate it, buddy. Trenton, how you doing? I had no idea. I remember the day. So he put in your chat on the other stream that he made a whole 126. I think he said 126 videos.
Private.
Yeah.
And then
from
public.
private to public. I remember the day that when my thing went off, and I didn't say anything to him. I didn't put anything publicly, but I remember I saw a bunch of tweets being going, Trent, what is your what are you doing? And at first I thought, okay, something's wrong with my YouTube, but it's good to know that it was just him it was him the whole time.
Which is still ironic because if you think about it, not only do they cap you with the 3 notifications every 24 hours, it's usually no more than like 10 to 15% of your audience too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah,
but you know what? He has an audience. That's
but he does the Chrome stuff really well and everything else. Like
myself.
We're gonna give yourself some credit. We're gonna talk about that. Don Cove, another channel member as well. Don, I'm gonna give you one of these.
Hello there.
There we go. Genos is in the house. How you doing? And who else we have here? We have got a couple of other names here. Georgia Tech. Oh, sorry, is it Giorgio Tech?
Giorgio.
Is that how you pronounce it? There we go. How you doing? Glad you're here. And I think. Yeah, he says he's everywhere. All right. So if you guys have questions, whatever, we're going to go ahead and throw in the chat now. I sent Shelly kind of an outline of things I want to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to scrap it to the wind because who knows?
We're just going to, it's Thursday. It's kind of like
by the seat of our pants.
It's kind of, exactly. It's kind of our Friday and everything like that. And we're just going to kind of see what happens here. Now, I can't highlight this, but I can see it on the regular chat over here. CDF Man has been a member for 11 months there, buddy. There you go. Appreciate you, buddy, there. Thank you very much. I'm going to give you one more time because I just love this. I once used that exact clip when I was streaming to Facebook, and they hit me with a universal copyright for that.
I once got a Facebook claim for it said you may have used up to 1 second in a 3-hour live stream. I know.
Wow.
Just like
they're so strict over there, hey?
Lord. Yeah.
Over here, it seems like you can get away with like 3 to 4, 5 seconds, but that's not official advice. It's not official advice. All right. So I have, like I said, I have kind of an outline here, things we can talk about, whatever. We'll talk about some tech. We're going to talk about the creative process, but I thought this is really general. Give us the Coles notes, if you can, of your creator journey that brought you to today, where you've been, what you've tried, what you wish you had tried. Just kind of give us if you can, just kind of give us like the Coles notes of Shelly's. Yeah, the TLD there of Shelly Saves the Day, and maybe even the name Shelly Saves the Day and whatnot, and like how you're here today, because I know you as someone who's worn all the different hats, and I get it as a creator. Maybe the audience doesn't quite get it, so let's hear from you.
All right, so actually, it's funny. I think I've said this before, but my very first YouTube video was for a coding boot camp, right? And it was an interesting time because we had to answer these 5 interview questions, and a YouTube video had to be unlisted. So that was actually my very first YouTube video, and I didn't really know what I was doing. My husband had to help me with that. And we also had to, it was a tough time, man, because we had to do our resume in Markdown. We had to do all this stuff in GitHub, and I was just like, what the hell is happening? But anyways, that was the first YouTube video getting up there unlisted so that people could actually check me out for the application process. Many years later, it's probably 5 years later, where I saw I have had a different experience with finding beauty YouTube, where I first found them because I tried out for an NFL dance team. The coach looked at me and was like, you don't know how to do makeup, go figure out how to do like makeup and fix your face. And I was like, cool, thanks for that. And so I went and I bought all of these makeup products that they were recommended, and then I went home and I was like, I don't really know what to do with these. And so I started watching beauty YouTube. And then it was many years later after that coding thing where I was like, oh my gosh, people are making YouTube videos of like all these beauty things, where the first time I was introduced to beauty YouTube, it was people who are very good at teaching. It was tutorials based. And then this one that I was finding them, it was people having opinions about things that came out of beauty subscription boxes. And I was like, fudge, I could do this. So I was like, okay, let me try and do this. And I did 2 beauty videos on a previous channel, actually. It was I don't even think it's still up. Nope, it is still up. They're just private. On a channel, I had 2 videos, and then we went over to dinner at a friend's house. I was like, oh, kind of starting this YouTube channel. And she's like, oh my God, I want to do YouTube. We should do it together. And I was like, what could go wrong? So we started a YouTube channel together. It was called Shelly and Jade. We did beauty box unboxings and stuff like that. About 9 months or so in, I wanted to talk about video editing, lighting, different things. She wanted to talk about skincare and fashion, and so we broke up, and I became Shelly Saves the Day, and that's the channel that you know now. Okay. And it was originally Shelly Saves the Day because we were Shelly and Jade, and so I was like, oh, I still want to keep Shelly, I just don't know. And then I was like, even for a little bit, I was like, maybe saving money, and I was like, maybe I can teach people how to like buy things and have it be cheaper. You know, remember at the time there was like, look expensive with cheaper clothes, or like, you know, have things done for cheap that look expensive. And so I was like, maybe savings ninja, you know, never buy things at full price. And then it just turned into Shelly Saves the Day, and I was like, well, with that you can just really do whatever you want, and I have. Trust me. So
you have one. Okay, so and actually that kind of brings us to the transition here. I wanted to show your channel for people that have not seen it. One thing I'm going to compliment you on is that your thumbnails have always been awesome.
No, they suck, but thank you.
They're good.
Thank you so
much. They're simple. They're to the point. I don't even have to look at the title, and I know what's going on. I got to tell you, a lot of your Final Cut videos have actually helped me out a lot, especially the ones with like masking and blurring out license plates and things like that for some of the vlogs I've done and whatnot. But I've always really enjoyed your videos. Now, speaking of your videos, do you remember? I was trying to find it today, but I couldn't find it. Back in the day when you and I were in that Facebook group, I think the group is still there, but like nobody's there. Yeah. You used to have like this music, dun dun dun, like to intro your videos. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you remember the video that Will did where he like? I was trying to find it, but I think you unlisted because you had people like submit their video. I think you had a video where people submitted their versions of your intro. And it
he sang it like really, really loudly, and
he's got like the big mouth thing going with the filter. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I couldn't find it, but I just remember back in the day that used to make me howl when I was going through your videos today and everything like that. But anyway,
you know what though, it should still be around. I don't even know what video that would be in, because remember I privated like 80 videos, not quite as many as Trent and Stack, and then I publicly put them out again, and so it's probably still out there.
Yeah, I even scrolled back because I knew it was like 4 or 5 years ago, and unfortunately YouTube doesn't let us organize by date anymore. It's either popular or recent. And I'm wondering what we might have a visitor here. I'm wondering why they did that, but like I said, your thumbnails have always been really good. Was there a time where you went back and redid some of your thumbnails?
No, but you can see like a while back that I started using that particular format. So I just had the different colors. Like you can see it if you're on my homepage with the playlist. Like all of the iMovie ones were purple, the Final Cut ones were blue, the TubeBuddy ones were red, or YouTube and TubeBuddy. Everything else that was kind of like other was either like a green or was it just kind of depended. And so like I was doing that for a while because it was really easy and you didn't have to think much about it.
Yep.
But honestly, the click-through rate on them isn't fantastic. So it's funny that people are like, oh, it's nice. But I'm like, it wasn't that effective.
Like, I love this. Like, all the iMovies are purple, and then the YouTube stuff is red. Final Cut, you got that blue with the Final Cut logo. It looks so clean and so nice.
Thank you.
Especially with the playlists here and everything like that. It looks great. And you've been focusing more on shorts lately. Is that true?
Well, I really don't have an excuse. So I did a lot of shorts in October because I was part of the shorts challenge, which was 30 shorts or 31 shorts in October, and it was called Shortstober. And then, which is how I got this.
What'd you get?
Wait, it's just how I got my prize possession here.
You get a prize?
They gave us a shorts, like embroidered like sweatshirt for completing the challenge.
That's nice.
But this month they're actually doing one for December. It's called Shortsmith, but they've actually upped the ante and they have like a few different challenge specifics that you also have to do, including like this Mariah Carey song, and
I saw
you have
that.
to do. Yeah, so we have to use it like 4 times this month.
Yeah. I hate that song, but I watched yours 3 times. Just 'cause.
Thank you. Well,
give me the
those
views.
pups are pretty cute. Come on.
There you go. There you go. Now, you talked about this on your live stream earlier, so I'll just kind of rehash it, and you can kind of go into it here a little bit here. And I could definitely relate. I think Trent can relate. I think any creator can probably relate to this. And the only reason I mentioned his name is because you talked about it. He put in the chat earlier. But mistakes, YouTube. You've made a lot of them. I know I have. This channel's a mess. And everything. Although I'm trying to keep consistent with the live streams and whatnot. Live streams and shorts seem to be doing. The shorts have been doing really well, actually. What kind of advice, or what would you say to anybody that's thinking of getting into YouTube? They've narrowed down their niche and they know what they want to do in terms of making mistakes, not what mistakes not to make, what mistakes to make, experimenting. What would you be, some of your advice on that?
Well, one, I would say that you shouldn't have unrealistic expectations at the very beginning, because a lot of people do, even when you tell them not to. It's just one of those things that always happen. And they get real romantic about what they think should happen to their channel or how they define success. And it's usually through superficial means, such as likes, subscribers, whatever. And I think a few people, they try and emulate what other YouTubers do before actually having like a point of view and anything focusing on what makes them different or special. And so if you're just another copycat of something else that's kind of popular, then you're just always like a 3rd, 4th, 5th rate of that thing, versus being like actually honing in on what makes you special. So I think a lot of people like forget that. I think a lot of people don't necessarily probably start their channel the right way. They probably start with 1, or maybe they go hot and heavy and then they release 2 and then they can't wait, or they release 5 on the same, like 2 weeks, and then they you don't hear from them for months. Yep. So there's a lot of tempering that expectation of what they thought was going to happen, plus how much they think they can do in their workload. Plus, I think a lot of people really are kind of stupid when it comes to being efficient, because a lot of people are doing it as a side hustle on top of their full-time job, right? Most of the people aren't doing it full-time. So they don't do things like batch shoot, or they don't even try and script, or they don't do the last take method when editing, or they don't try and actually become faster and more efficient in the process. And then they bemoan about how much of it's process to create the videos, and then they use that as the excuse for not continuing. So
Gotcha.
I would say that's from the beginning.
So time management, I know, is something that I have always struggled with. I know a lot of creators do, like you just said, instead of batch shooting, or maybe they can't, or maybe they don't set aside so many hours, whatever. For myself, I try to record in the evenings and whatnot, because everybody's asleep basically. During the day, I've got the daytime gig and whatnot. So how do you keep yourself efficient? And do you block off certain time? Do you have a calendar method? How do you make sure you stick to a schedule to make sure you're posting here, you're posting there, et cetera, et cetera?
Zach, I can do it for everyone but me. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
It's the whole everyone but me. You know how those who can't do coach, teach, that'd be me. So I have really no excuse for not putting out more content than I have in this last year. I've done a lot of I do the weekly live stream and I do shorts, and I haven't really gotten back into VODs, and I really need to. And in fact, I have an entire Trello board with 150 to 100 ideas that I really need to get out and push out, but I don't, because I am doing the other things. So I'm really big into the Amazon video. I'm creating stickers, which no one is really buying. I'm doing all these things because I want to learn. I'm constantly doing all these other things, and because I can't focus, because I have a squirrel brain, which is how I can say I know all these mistakes, and Trent, don't even try and come for me. That's not even close a competition. I will smack you down with the amount of mistakes that I've done that beat you. And so there's really no excuse. I have more hours in the day than most people do, because other people are working the whole 9-to-5 job thing. And so I beat myself up for not having enough content, but then it becomes this whole it should be better content. And so I just don't put out any content because I just put too much pressure on myself. So I'm no, forget that. We're not going to do it.
I think we've all been there as creators. I know that sometimes where it's okay, I got this great idea. I've got my notes. Maybe I've recorded some B-roll. I'm ready to go and everything. And
B-roll, what's that?
And then for some reason I don't hit record because it's in my head that is anybody actually going to benefit from this? And then it's interesting. You'll eventually push record, and that video becomes like one of your best videos that month or that week or something like that. So I think we need to stop. Did you just hear that? Okay.
The music?
My Google Assistant likes to randomly talk to me sometimes. It's really weird. It's really been freaking me out. It turned on my TV earlier today, and I'm not sure how it did that.
I had a random, like, my light came on in the middle. I was sitting over there making stickers and cutting and putting them out, and then all of a sudden the light just, like, came on, and I was like, that's weird.
Yeah, I'm thinking of turning all my speakers into mute. It's been really weird lately. But yeah, like I said, I think a lot of creators are kind of hard on themselves because we think of this idea, we want to emulate, whatever creator we've seen before. Like one of the best pieces of advice I ever heard was from John Prosser, who recently left Twitter. I'm not sure if you heard about that. We'll talk about Twitter. Twitter's been interesting lately. Have you heard of Hive? Anyway, but one of the best pieces of advice he ever gave was, don't try to fit the puzzle. Build a new effing puzzle. Right? It's kind of like, don't try to be the peg that fits, the square peg that fits the round hole kind of thing, right? Build a new puzzle. So don't be the next Marquez Brownlee. Don't be the next Unbox Therapy, right? It's, for example, El Jefe Reviews. He didn't go out and be the next, other person, other guys that do audio reviews. He went and became El Jefe Reviews, right? And things like that. And I guess there has to be an element depending on the niche. Would you agree with this? But there has to be an element in certain niches that you need to jive with or be consistent with, but at the same time you still have to carve out your own uniqueness. So for example, if you look at a lot of tech channels, I know that you watch tech, you've done tech reviews yourself and everything. A lot of tech channels will have kind of familiar look. Maybe it's that slow B-roll, maybe it's the fake plant. I don't know what it, I'm talking about a lot of the tropes and and whatnot. But would you agree that when it comes to any niche, whether it's car reviews or makeup, or whatever, there are certain things you need to do, but then you can still carve out sort of a uniqueness other than just being yourself?
Yes.
Yeah. So how does
there's a recipe, like literally for every single YouTube channel, doesn't matter what it is. If it is beauty, you're going to have to show the shot. You're going to have to show the outside of it. You're going to have to show the inside. You're going to have to show application. You're going to have to show maybe swatches and different type of but how you choose to put it on and apply it is either the natural girl next door or like circus clown. I like it and it's colorful and bright, but it's still the same product and pigment. And I think the same with tech reviews. You're going to see the unboxing, you're going to see it open up, you're going to see the beauty shot of it, whether it's laying down over top over, or it's like rotating around against a green screen. You're going to have to see that beauty shot, and then you're going to have to talk about a certain amount about the specs, and then you're going to have to talk about a real world application or something else, right? So it's like everything out there has its own recipe.
There you go. And that's something that I know that I've always struggled with. For example, for the longest time, this channel did the traditional talking head shot, cut to the top down shot and then back to me and maybe some slow B-roll and everything. And it worked for a while. But at the end, eventually I just, how you can tell with the creator sometimes that they're just not enjoying making the content. The energy's not coming through. That's what I started doing, the live streams.
Sometimes the audience gets bored of it too, because if you think about it, with the influx of tech creators and everyone following the same recipe, it feels like you watch one tech review, you've seen them all. And so it's like, unless you're going to tell me what's actually different in your opinion, how you tested it in some extreme weather condition, how you did something else and created some family memory that I'm not going to get anywhere else. It's all kind of like the same, because it is the same at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. And specifically with the tech niche, it seems like if you're not first, you need to do something extremely different, like you said, to to show people that it can do this.
And that's the same with gaming. It's the same with music. It's the same with because anybody can watch anybody play a game,
like a revisit or a re-review.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it can sometimes be difficult to kind of carve out, what am I going to do different? Like, so for example, when I was sent all the Pixel phones, am I going to do an unboxing of all the Pixels? No, you guys have seen that done to death. Yeah, there's probably going to be people that watch it, but nobody's really interested in it anymore. What I did have somebody ask me a question about, and I actually filmed this today, because the video will be coming out on hopefully Sunday, is someone wanted to know, does the fingerprint sensor on the Pixel phones work like in extreme cold? And right now, I don't know what the conversion is to Fahrenheit, so don't ask me. But it's minus 18 Celsius, and with the wind chill, it's like minus 29 Celsius. I think that's like 10 Fahrenheit. Anyway, it's cold. So I went outside with the Pixel phones today, and basically froze my hands and demonstrated whether they worked or not and everything like that. I don't think anybody else has done that. I think it's going to be a ridiculously stupid fun video, but at least it'll answer that question and hopefully somewhat educate. I want to show your website.
Minus 20 Celsius is minus 4 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, disgusting, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. You guys recently got a bunch of snow there, like Vancouver, didn't you?
We just got a little bit. It was like an inch.
Did you see the news that people in Vancouver don't know how to drive in the snow?
No one knows how to drive in the snow.
So
Vancouver, maybe Alaskans.
so I live in Calgary, which is a 13-hour drive east of Vancouver, or a 3-hour flight, whatever you want to call it. So just over the mountains, basically. And every year we always see the same news stories of how Vancouver gets like this much snow, which makes me laugh because the snow is crazy here right now in the cold. But they don't know how to drive, and they have like one snowplow for the entire city and the island, and all the accidents and everything like that. And I don't mean to laugh at the people, but it's like we go through this every single year. So I had to wonder, you only got a little bit, right, in Seattle there, right? Mm-hmm. You survived, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will rebuild.
We will rebuild. There you go. All right, this is your website. I want you to explain to us, because you do the coaching, you do the YouTube educating. I don't like using the word guru, and I know some people throw that around, but YouTube educating, YouTube coaching. Tell us about your website and everything. It's really, really nicely laid out, and the kind of the services and things like that you offer here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, I did that. It's a WordPress site. If anyone's looking to copy it, it's the Milos theme, and so basically, I will do individual consultations with people, or I can do like a 90-day program, which is 12 weeks, or you can do like a channel evaluation. So, and then I've got some testimonials here from different people. I forgot as I was starting to put these together. I was like, oh wow,
Roger.
I've got some,
He's cool. I like him.
Yeah, I love him. I actually flew out for a week, and I worked with his team down in Texas about how to do YouTube optimization and processing and working out like their video scripts and like the formats, like a lot. I worked a lot with that team.
Mr. Jason T. Lewis. Good
That's
stuff.
right.
Awesome. I didn't know that you worked with him. That's great.
Just a little bit. Helped him get a brand deal.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And that's the thing is I don't really talk about it a lot, which I think is different than some of the other people out there. They can't shut up about it, but it's been to my detriment because I don't have a lot of people actually book with me sometimes because they're like, oh, I didn't know you did that. And it's because like, oh, I told you once 3 years ago, you saying you haven't like remembered? It's the worst. I am the worst.
Oh, you worked with Linda. Okay, wow. Okay, awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
That's I like
it's
that.
Nice when people like trust me to help them out with stuff. So
if you go to the little links here, it'll take you to your different socials and everything like that. Additional information. This is really, I never got my WordPress website to look like this. This is so clean. And then information.
It's minimal, I will say. Because just like my thumbnail, they're minimal.
Are you still doing the podcast on a regular basis, or?
No, the live streams on Thursdays were becoming video podcasts because I was just putting them up on Anchor.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just stopped putting them up there, so I just need to go back and do that. So.
Okay. Let's find out about Shelly. All right.
Oh yeah, have you seen content minis? That's my new venture.
Well, okay, you know what's interesting is, so I linked your channel in the description, which by the way, I don't know why, but the tagging is not working.
I saw you on Twitter about that.
Yeah, my past live streams from like last week are fine, but my last few live streams, none of the tags have persisted past the stream, and I don't know if I'm pretty sure it's not something I'm doing different because I redo them every time. But yeah, you have a couple of different websites here. The podcast channel, Shelly Slays. Remember Shelly Slays? So like you said with the experimenting, right?
Always.
This one over here, and then I think that's it basically. So it's cool. I mean, I thought I had a lot of channels with two.
Oh yeah. No, I have more that I just haven't even linked.
Yeah.
I have one that I started just for putting up my Amazon shoppable videos, just so I have them up for content ID and piracy type reasons. And yeah, I mean, I've got one for my new sticker type stuff. And
I'm gonna have to check
crafting.
those out. The stickers and everything like that. That could make some nice gifts for the stocking. All right, I want to talk about working with brands and things like that. I know that this it seems like, at least in the creator circles, whatever, it seems like this is talked about to death. Roberta Blake has a lot of advice about it, and I still see kind of the same questions and same sort of mistakes being done by a lot of content creators on Twitter, and the questions out there and whatever. And it may work for some people. In general, I don't think it works for a lot of people. But for example, you asked me, like, how did you get all these phones, whatever. So let's rewind back to when the Pixel 4a came out. Pixel 4a came out, okay? And Google sent me the Pixel 4a. Now, the way that Google does things here in Canada is different from the United States, a little bit different, okay? So in the United States, you guys have, basically you have media, you have Team Pixel.
Sorry, I don't have a way to compare those, but I found something related.
Why?
You want to know, does Google Pixel work in Canada?
No! Like, do you hear this? I didn't ask her.
did.
Okay, so anyway, so you guys have basically like 3 levels: the Team Pixel, the gift from Google, and there's media units. Here in Canada, it's made by Google, made by Google, and Google Canada. So what happened is Google sent me out the 4A, and then something happened between the 4A and now the new 7 series where there was a kind of, I guess you want to call it, changing of the guard and whatnot. And I reached out to the proper people, or at least I thought were the proper people. And I finally found the proper persons, recently. And I said, hey, we've done some stuff in the past here with the 4A. Can we do something here with the 7 series? And they're like, yeah, we'll send you the 7 and 6A and the Buds Pro. And I'm like, wow. They didn't ask for any metrics or anything like that, which was really kind of cool, right? So this kind of goes back to the comment about you just got to find the right person or reach out to the right person. And believe it or not, everybody, it was an email. It wasn't a tweet. So what would you say is some of the best advice you could give of the do's and don'ts for whether it's a new content creator, someone who's seasoned veteran? What have you found that's worked well for you, or what hasn't when it comes to working with brands?
Try and get packages versus individual one-offs. Don't put your prices in a media kit if you have a media kit, because let's say their budget was $50,000 and you say in your media kit that it's $20,000 to work with you. They just save themselves $30,000 versus building a package for them later and then maybe finding out what they've paid other people. I would say don't be stingy with knowledge and other people. There's a site which is called, can we swear on your stream?
Yeah, we can. What do we need
Oh,
here?
Fuck You Pay Me is a website that you can sign into, and then
Yeah.
they will list what people have paid them or what brands were good or not good to work with.
Okay.
So that's a really good one. You can check out what other people are getting paid. You can ask your creator friends. I would say in the beginning, they're not going to be knocking down your door. You're going to be knocking down their door. And so a few things that you can do, like go to LinkedIn, because there's a lot less noise on LinkedIn, and find the proper people or find the format for their email address and find out who is on the decision-making ladder.
I find that LinkedIn is kind of like a cheat code, because not a lot of people go there. You can go to literally the company, see who works there. Usually that PR person or the marketing department will be public, and then away you go, right?
And some people will actually put out press releases with the contact person's name at the bottom.
Yep.
I would say if you haven't already, you need to start organically posting about them, because we actually had a roundtable discussion. It's just technically confidential with YouTube and some people that represent brands and creators. And they were saying, like, if you've never posted about us, we don't want to buy your first post talking nice about us. So if you haven't ever liked any of our products or said something about us, like, we're not just going to magically drop money on you to hope that you're going to obviously then first say that you like us. So they're looking for people who are already using stuff, liking stuff. I would say I've had people reach out to me because I made a video about one of their products, like, hey, I saw this, I appreciate it. What can I do anything for you? And I'm like, yeah, you can give me that product for life. And they're like, done. So, I mean, that happens.
Yeah.
There is the old, Instagram DM type thing. I did that on my beauty channel where I went on to Ulta and Sephora and I found every single makeup company that sold foundation. I DM'd all of them until I couldn't. And then after I timed out, then I came back and did it again. And I got, like, out of 100, I still got 6 of them to send me stuff, which was hundreds of dollars of product.
Wow.
So, and then try and eventually change it from product into getting paid. So, I mean, that's some.
That is good advice. I mean, I've always felt that some of the best creators out there, some of the best influencers or whatever word you want to call it, right? Are definitely people that like the product, that have used it for years, that have been fans of it. I mean, like Jeff was saying here, thanks Shelly for being an ambassador before he became an ambassador. It's completely true.
I was doing some videos on, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I have a love for a program called Descript. And they reached out to me and they're like, hey, would you talk with us for a little bit to talk with our engineers to see about what you like and don't like about it? And they gave me another year for free, which was another $250. And that was an hour of my time. I'm like, sure. And then they were like, would you do something else? And I get another year for free or something. And so I'm like, even something like that product, if it's something that helps you do your job, if you make videos about it, like that's already kind of like a brand deal because it still has value. So, I mean, even something like that, if you think about like Ecamm, I've been in love with Ecamm for like 4 years. And every once in a while I'll be like, hey guys, I need some more interview hours or something. Can you, because now they're like, here, you can have some, or they have a great affiliate program or whatever else. And there's like, yes, of course. And so those relationships are very, very important, but also like never sell out for something that you never would. So I've been talking for years about how like every year I put a post out and I say like, go hook up your library card to Libby and then you get all these books for free. So I was like, my audience knows, like, if you ever see me with an Audible sponsorship, you knew it was just a big paycheck and I would never do that because I always tell you about Libby. So I mean, your audience knows if you're selling out, so don't do that either.
Yeah, I've always said that I'm only going to talk about product or even sponsors or put in ads on products that I personally use, like I said, I've personally used, that I've purchased in the past, that I have confidence in. So if a bread maker company comes over by and says, hey, can you show off our bread maker? No. But for example,
you know what? Like, if you think about it, like the relationship that I built with TubeBuddy was over the years, and it ended up with me having a job there. So I mean, like, that's what happens when you act like an ambassador for a product, for a company, before you even like are getting paid from them. There you go.
Exactly. I was cleaning up my email last night on one of my email addresses, and I came across emails that I had with dbrand back in 2013. And in 2013, I had actually purchased a custom skin from them. They used to do custom skins. You used to be able to send them an image or something like that, and they would send it to you. And they did a custom Calgary Flames logo skin for my Nexus 4 because it had a crack along the back. And I found those emails, and I couldn't believe that. Oh my gosh, I've been a fan and been purchasing their stuff since 2014.
I'm surprised they would do the NHL when it's like, trademarked.
Yeah, no, I think they got in trouble after. This is about a year after they started going into business and everything like that. I found them
but best believe I'd be like contacting them and be like, can I put my dogs on this case?
Yeah, they don't do that. I don't think they do the custom stuff anymore unless it's large batches. But back then they used to. And now it's it's led to this basically where I can send a quick email and I've got a rep there and I know the ownership and everything, and they're like, yeah, no problem.
Kind of bummed. I bought a dbrand skin. It was that like green camo one, and I had it on my 11 Pro Max.
Yeah.
God, it was so good. And then when I like got rid of that phone, I didn't have it anymore. I was like, oh, I really liked it.
Nice. Now I almost got the Ninja Turtle one for the they did the one where it's all green, then you pick the color.
Yes.
I'm such a sucker. I want to think about being blunt because this still sticks in my head. Clubhouse. Okay, so I have been on Clubhouse for a while. It's just not my jam anymore. I pop in there once in a while. But you were in a Clubhouse, and I can't remember whose Clubhouse who was hosting it. But someone had got up on the stage and had asked about, I've put videos up on YouTube, and nothing. My channel's not growing. And I think you asked, or they said, oh, I've done 3 videos, like ever, in the last 6 months. And you pretty much said to them, bitch, you need to make more videos. So that being said, do you think that within the creator economy, within the creator education space, that people are coddled or not, given
because
the
it opens
advice
wallets
too often? Because of what?
Because it opens wallets.
Okay.
If you go by the premise of anyone can do this, it's so amazing, it's achievable for everyone. It's not, these are the dreams and aspirations that everyone has, which you're basically prying into and asking people to give you money so that they can achieve the dream that they want, right? Mm-hmm. And once they have your money, they don't really care unless you're going to come to a conference or you're going to go up to the next level of like coaching. And there's not a lot of like realism. There's not a lot of real advice, and there's not a lot of like stuff that isn't sunshine and rainbows. It's just a lot of like, everything's amazing. Can you imagine like what it's gonna be like when you have your next Mr. Beast video and when you have 100 million subscribers? And I'm like, yeah, bitch, to get there it's like 1,000 videos. So like, what do you want, 3? Okay, well, you've got 997 to go. Like, I just don't have the time, which is why I can't do like what Nick Nimmin does. Yeah, because I don't have the patience for it with the stars. Like, I'm down to help anybody, but it's just like a lot of people are so disillusioned on like how much work it's going to be or what the results are going to be after minimal input. I
think too many people look at the Mr. Beast and the Mr. Who's the bosses and the MKBHDs out there. I'm just rattling off names and they go, oh, I can do that.
I just don't have the patience, and that's the things. I don't have the patience for the same question 70 times. And I think one of the things probably with Clubhouse, because there wasn't at the time recordings, because there wasn't any of that stuff, even in the same room that you could waste 2, 3, 4 hours, it would be someone new coming in at any given time and asking a question that was already answered from 2 hours ago, as opposed to, and that's the thing, is there were a lot of people just time sucking, like time vampires in there, right? That just sucks away.
One of my issues with Clubhouse was there were so many rooms specifically with YouTube growth, or maybe it's just because of those of the
and they give shitty advice.
Yeah, bad advice and just a lot of confirmation bias type of BS.
It's an echo chamber of small YouTubers helping each other. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I get it. The premise is great, but it's like, also, had you instead of been in this room for 4 hours, been in this room for an hour, gotten some motivation, spent 2 hours filming, an hour editing, and then uploading, you would have more results to talk about. You would have data-driven decision stuff to look at versus this pie in sky, like what could happen if. And that was my problem, is like it would be the same people week after week. And there was one girl that I was just like, get your ass out of this room if you're not going to make any videos. Like, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of you coming up here with the same question. I'm sick of you asking about all these things, like getting brand deals. And I'm like, honey, you haven't even put out a video yet. So what do you think you're going to do? If you have no influence, you're not going to become an influencer and get a brand deal. That's how that works. You're going to have to put out some videos.
This right here,
it literally is like, bitch, make some videos.
I know that everybody's watching this right now, or maybe watching the replay, and you're going, because that's exactly what we all did that day in that Clubhouse. I was going, oh my God. But I mean, it's 110% real, right? We're not holding your hand here. Like, this is the reality. It's a long game. You're not going to blow up. The people that blow up over a week or even a year.
This person who was asking about brand deals hadn't even put out a video. I'm like, what? No.
Yeah, I've been in rooms on there, and even on Twitter Spaces, like, people, they haven't even actually made their channel. They're trying to land brand deals. They haven't even actually.
And I'm like, what influence do you have? What benefit? Like, people are like, oh my God, this girl got all this makeup. And I'm like, you know why? Because those brands know that when they send out product to these people, and like with early peaks or with looks or whatever else it is, they're going to get and convert sales. So it's an ROI type. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Sending you product as a no one who makes no videos, who maybe will make videos in the future, there's no dollars to make in that. So there's no sense to do it.
Fellow Canadian Renee Ritchie in the house.
Hey!
Welcome, sir. I love Renee.
My second favorite Canadian.
Yeah. Who's the first?
Well, the one I'm on the show with right now, Dingus.
I'm such a liar.
But if I was on Renee's show, then I would have to switch it and be like, oh.
Exactly. It's how
love the one you're with, Zach.
Exactly.
Renee knows.
Renee's a great ambassador for the YouTube community. Yeah, I think YouTube totally scored getting him and take care of the ambassadors. I can just imagine some of the stuff behind the scenes and everything like that he gets to see now. That would be wild. All right, I want to totally switch gears. We're going to talk a little bit about tech, and then a couple other things I got kind of listed here, because we're at 45 minutes already, 46 minutes already.
Time flies, man. You're having fun.
What are you using for phones these days? Like, what are you using for phone or phones?
13 Pro.
13 Pro.
I have the Pixel 7 and the 6A, and I have the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra.
Okay. Why did you not update to the 14 on the iPhone?
I wanted the purple.
Okay.
But other than that, I didn't care about the continuous on display. That made I couldn't give two shits about that. And the telephoto, like I barely use,
see, people like you need to do more tech reviews.
No.
People like you need to do more tech reviews. Like, that's the kind of thing you would never hear in a tech review. I don't give two craps about that. On always on display. Meanwhile, everybody's going off about the Lonely Island, Dynamic Island, or whatever the heck it's called.
And I said, no one cares about my ideas on tech. I don't know,
you know,
why I continue to buy all these things, even when I think I'm gonna maybe one day talk about tech, and I never do.
so our mutual friends and fellow Seattleian, is that what they are? Is that what you call yourselves?
Seattleite?
Seattleite? Is that what it is? Okay. Travis, Travis, MCP, he did a video about how Casey Neistat is one of the greatest tech reviewers without being a tech reviewer.
Yeah.
And I've always believed that. Some of the best tech reviews that I love watching are people that don't traditionally do like phone reviews, because they talk about things that we don't all think about. They talk about the things that nobody else cares about. They don't talk about refresh rates. 60 hertz. I can't believe that the tech community made 60 hertz.
Oh, I know.
I can't believe that we made that trend.
I'm going to say, because he is here in the chat, I know he's now doing in the essays, but I agree with Renee a lot of the time on his reviews, and he's like, at the time, buy what you can afford and enjoy it for a while. So that's why I haven't upgraded my iPad Pro. I'm still in the 3rd generation, which I bought used from Andrew Edwards, and I love it. And every time I look at one, I'm like, okay, M1, no. M2, no. Until they have Final Cut Pro on it, and I'm not just going to use like LumaFusion or something, like I don't see the benefit, because I'm not taking a bunch of photos with my iPad. I'm using Procreate, and Procreate works great on my iPad. So
Procreate's awesome. Yeah. I always forget that Andrew Edwards is also in your backyard. I always whenever I think of Andrew Edwards, I always think about how he never has Travis over to his house.
It was his birthday yesterday, by the way. If you guys haven't seen, go say hi to Andrew Edwards. It was his birthday.
Okay, I knew it was Narav's birthday today, but I forgot about Edwards. Oh man, I usually have.
I'm sure if you sent him a text message or a message anyway, he has so many unreads. Like even if you sent it 5 days later, he'd be like, "Thanks, man."
I'm pretty sure Andrew has me muted on Twitter, but that's okay. Speaking of Twitter, no, he doesn't. Speaking of Twitter, what a mess right now, hey? What are your thoughts on the takeover from Elon, the reaction, how everything's going, how it's not going? How things have been over amplified. Twitter, Shelly, go.
I think that the people who work at Twitter, a lot of them were probably coddled, and a lot of them made too much money, and so culling a lot of that was the right move to do. To do it right before Christmas is a dick move, for fiscal reasons. To do it the way that he did it, where people just were mysteriously logged out of their computers and could no longer log in, for them finding out how they were not their employees anymore, was a pretty dick move. And I think that they deserved better. And I think that if you go back and you look at like the Twitter thread of them all talking about how great it was to work with each other and that Twitter family, it seemed like he was really ripping apart family. And I think the thing with Elon is he acts and then retracts. And so it was like, we're going to fire everyone. And then it's going to be like, oh, these people were freaking critical. Oh, we're going to try and bring them back. Oh, wait, we already fired them. Okay, well, let's just apologize and try and bring them back in. What kind of goodwill is that for? Yeah. And then it's going to be like, hey, we're going to roll out. He says a lot of things and then he has to backtrack when it was like, hey, we're going to roll out Twitter Blue. Just kidding. It's going to be delayed. Just kidding. F Apple because of the App Store thing, which you should know as a tech owner, if why everything costs more in the Apple Store.
That whole thing was made up.
You should know.
He came out with a statement saying, "Did you know about the secret 30% thing?" And
everybody knows about that. Just because you didn't know about it doesn't all of a sudden mean that Apple
all the quote replies to that were people in the tech niche going, yeah, we've talked about this for years. It has been
says
there.
The man who actually ships the same battery on his Teslas and then unlocks the long range and the autopilot with a software update. You know what I mean? That's like the BMW where it's like the heated seats are like extra as a subscription. I was like, you should have known. You should have known it wasn't going to go over well too. But that's on you, and that's not you doing your due diligence either before buying a company, because you went out and you spouted something stupid on Twitter like, maybe I'll just buy it, and then we're like, okay, let's do it, and then trying to get out of it, and then them being like, no takesy backsies, it's a legal thing now, and then him trying to be like, okay, F it, and then I'm like, are you trying to make it self-implode? Because okay, let's pay for verification, but it's not really verification, but it's a different kind of verification, but it still doesn't. We're kind of here for humor, but we're not here for humor. Not unless you make fun of me, but this is like, oh, you can be back, even though you're Kanye West and you are anti-Semitic, and all of a sudden Nazis are all of a sudden not a bad deal. What? And then all of a sudden it was like, well, I don't like what this person has to say, so he can't be here, but this person's okay. And I'm like, I'm sorry, when did you become judge, jury, executioner of all of the people in the billions? And like you said, all of this was about the bots and all that stuff. I'm like, what have you really done to cull that? Because also half of your followers would be gone. And I'm like, just because you had some businesses that have been successful, some of which haven't, and that's one of those things, a lot of things fail, and that's the sign of a true entrepreneur. But I'm like, you don't know what you're doing. And Twitter is this thing that has existed for however many years it has its own culture. And it's like someone coming in and buying Reddit and then having it change and be completely like different. And I'm like, you can't do that. You already have a CEO job of Tesla, of the Boring Company, of the whatever. You can't devote the time to this. Bring in someone who can actually do the job. Sit there and make some decisions, spout there and do your like memes, but like stop, because you don't know what you're doing and you're just making it worse for everybody.
I wish I could predict what it's going to be like 6 months, let alone a year from now. And it's so chaotic. And at first I was like, okay, whatever. And then I was nervous, and then I was optimistic, and now I'm just like, I don't know what the heck is going on. So I've never used the mute words thing so much in my life. I've put so many things on there, including him. I was following him for a while, but it's just now I don't want to. If they implement things, we'll put it in. The checkmark thing does not make any sense to me at all. I think if you're like, verification was never about being credible. It was just about verifying that the person, that account is who they say they are, right? So if the account is Shelly Says Today, it's Shelly behind the keyboard. It's not me, right? That's what verification is. And I've said from the start, I'm okay with paying. It's actually $10 Canadian because of the conversion and everything like that. But I'm okay with paying the $8 or $10, whatever it is, for the blue features, because I love the folders. The reader is awesome. The edit feature I've only used a handful of times every month. But I have no problem, submitting my ID and saying, making sure that I'm who I say I am. And then also, apparently they've also implemented a verified phone number feature, which they just rolled out in India, which is very interesting. So I don't know if that's part of the verification process. But it was weird to me that they would roll it out. But then they said, well, you can only buy it on Apple iOS. So that's one way to stop the trolls and this and that. Completely backfired, as you know, with all the fake accounts, the fake Nintendo account and this and that. It's just been a delightful mess. So I know that you don't have Twitter Blue and everything like that. Have you noticed if your experience has changed at all, other than everybody?
Honestly, like, I still talk to who I want to, or see who I want to, or like, it's just another platform for me at the end of the day. Like, I can't wax poetic about how it's like my favorite. It is one of my favorites, but also, like, if it goes away, fine, whatever. Like, I'll find another one. But I'm also not like rushing to be like, Twitter is over. Oh my gosh, RIP Twitter. Go to the Hive, or go to Behance, or go to Be Real.
Did you make a Hive
account?
Like, did you check it out?
No.
No?
No. If it goes away, it goes away. And then, you know what? I'm like, oh, what are they going to do? They'll talk to me on like Instagram, or they'll talk to me on Facebook, or they'll talk to me on YouTube, or they'll talk to me on like my email list. Like, I don't care. I'm platform agnostic at this point. I'm not in love with any of them. That's good.
So after YouTube and Twitter, like, what would you say your top platforms are? Like, where do you go to?
You know what? Where I spend time is TikTok.
Yeah,
honestly,
I know that.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
And on TikTok, I can just put everything that I want to. So as opposed to like my YouTube channels where I have like 10, and I have to like put out and divvy out on whichever channel is most about that topic. On TikTok, I don't care. It just is out there for everyone to see. I don't care.
Yeah, I noticed that TikTok's a weird beast like that. I've only recently started posting more regularly on there and tried to post it.
Oh yeah, I've seen you.
Yeah, have you? I did the lemon thing with this, and I don't know why a bunch of people seem to like that. It was just a 6-second dumb whatever. I don't get it anymore. Maybe I'm too old for this stuff. All right, we're coming up on an hour already. I wanted to keep this definitely to an hour here. So let us know really quick, Shelly. What are you working on? What's coming up? What's in the books? Go.
So actually, I'm working on a service called Content Minis, which is it's a service that's going to take people's live streams and video podcasts and create a lot of short form vertical content from them. It works on a fractional basis, kind of like a VidPros or VidChops type of thing does, where you get the first 5 people that sign up work with me. So I get 2 hours a day working on editing services using things like Descript, Premiere, or Final Cut, and creating a whole bunch of TikToks and Reels and whatever they can just use. I also, I've become a stickerpreneur. So I'm making stickers. I'm selling them in my Etsy shop because why the frick not? I was like, I already dropped one F-bomb. We'll keep it cleaner.
It's okay.
Also, I am still doing a lot of the, well, I can't say a lot. That's a lie. But I am doing YouTube coaching and consultations for people. And that is, I would love to say that tons of people do it, but they don't. But I will say the people that do it, it's really good because I'm not one of those kid gloves. Like, I'm gonna give it to you straight and actually stuff to work on. Like, I'm not gonna tell you your baby is like really, really cute when it's ugly. So I'm like, well, that's how people think about their YouTube channels. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm gonna tell you your baby's ugly and tell you how to fix it. And, you know, take from that what you will.
There you go. None of your dogs decided to visit you tonight.
They're here.
They're here?
Yeah, they're here.
Are they always sitting there like watching kind of thing?
Typically. And then you can start to hear one, I call it Darth Doggy, when he just like starts breathing really heavy, and that's his cue for like, oh, we need to go potty. It's potty time.
There you go. I heard my mega floof. Do you remember the whole Johnny Depp never heard thing? Remember the whole mega pint? Yes. So now my nickname for Loki is Mega Floof. I don't know, a Mega Floof, because he's huge. I heard him earlier. I don't know if you guys heard him, but anyway, sometimes he makes an appearance and sometimes he doesn't. I think he knows Dad's streaming. All right, Shelly, I really appreciate your time coming through, the questions, the comments from everybody in the chat. This will go up on the replay there. We'll throw some chapters in. We keep it real basic here because it's just a conversation. Again, I appreciate you coming through, Shelly. I don't know who we have coming on next week, everybody, but I can tell you that the week after that, we're supposed to have the Techno Buffalo over here. So yes, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and that'll actually be a year from the last time he was over here. So I'm trying to hold him to it. And really kind of, guilt tripping him about it and everything like that. So
I'm going to do a quick plug. I'm going to ask people to come check out the live stream tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. I'm going to have Michael Loomis from the Arena Group, who runs the Sports Illustrated YouTube properties, and Gwen Miller, who runs all the Hearst YouTube properties.
Is that 10:30 Pacific?
Mm-hmm.
On Shelly Saves?
What?
On Shelly Saves on your regular channel? Okay, cool. I have notifications turned on for you, so I'll definitely be able to watch it. That's 10, so that's 11:30. That's actually perfect. That's lunch hour for me. There we go.
Perfect.
All right, Shelly, thanks so much for coming out. I appreciate the bluntness, and I'm sure she has something to say about the outro here, but we're gonna roll it anyway. So, you guys all have a good night. Well, take care. Cheers.